Hi everyone, this video is going to be a short overview of how we built the actual sales by month line chart with both sales and profit as a dual axis today in class, and feel free to pause and practice this on your own. I'm going to begin by creating a brand new worksheet here and then creating the title first. So we'll right click that, rename, and I'll just write line chart example. However, you can write whatever chart name you want. We can edit this and customize the font settings, so make it a little bit larger, bold, and centered, and click apply. That looks good to me, and I can click OK. First off, we're going to start by just making a line chart for the sales by month. So in order to do that, we can grab sales and put that onto rows, and then we can put order date here onto columns. Now, Tableau is smart enough to change this to a line. If it doesn't, you can always manually select line under the type for the marks. Now, by default, it's year, and I can expand this to do quarter and month, and then drag these pills off. However, I want to be able to see months per year, not the sum of all Januaries for every year. This is right now, this is summing January for 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. In order to do that, we can click this little drop down arrow and change this month dimension, the blue pill, to the month measure, which is the exact month, May 2015, and it's going to turn into a green pill. That's how you know you've done this correctly, is if this is a green pill in the top, and now I can see all of my sales for all months across all years. Now you might notice you have a null value in your data set here. We can just simply click that button and click filter data, and it adds the filter up here. If I double click this, we can see non-null dates are being filtered out of my data set now. So I don't want to see all 4 years at once. I want to be able to see 1 year at a time. So I'm going to put a filter on order date and drag that blue pill into filters, click the years option, next, and then select the year I want to see. So I can start with 2011 and click apply. And now I've got my sales just for 2011. And then if I want the user to be able to interact with this, I can right click that blue pill and click show filter, and it will appear on the right hand side here in a card, and they can add another year and take off a year, and we can just go through the entire data set. Now, if I don't want them to select multiple years at once, I can adjust that setting in the drop down arrow here on the right and select a single value list, and now they can only select one item at a time. Next up, we want to create the profit line chart. So we'll just drag profit as well onto the rows, and it's going to create a second line chart below. Now, the rest of the video, we're going to apply the formatting settings separately, and then we'll combine them to be a dual axis. Okay, you can do them in either order, it doesn't matter. You could create a dual axis and then do all of your formatting settings. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in, your choice. So we're going to start with the card, the marks cards. You'll notice that when I drag a second line for profit, we get multiple marks. So I can adjust just the sum of profit settings, or just the sum of sales, or I can adjust all. So you can see here, as I adjust the size for both, it goes up. If I just want to adjust the size for sales, I can drag just the sales marks card up. And if I want to adjust the size for just profit, I can make it a lot thinner. So we're going to start by making the color custom. So we're going to do a dark purple for sales. We're going to turn on these little markers. I'm going to make sure the size is nice and large. And I'm going to add the label for the sales value on label on the marks. So I'm going to drag in sales, and now I get this little green pill in the marks card. Now I do want to format this so it shows in hundreds of thousands with a K instead of the actual value, and we can do that again just by simply clicking this drop down arrow, going into the format settings, going into the numbers section, currency custom, display units, thousands, and turning off decimal places. So now it just says 185K. Perfect. And then if I want to adjust the font, I can do that here. in the top left, I can make it a little bit bigger, or I can also do it here in the label section and make it a little bit bigger. Whatever your personal preference is, there's multiple ways to do the same thing in Tableau. Okay, that is looking pretty good to me. The next thing we're going to do is the profit line. So I'm going to open up the profit marks card. I'm going to make sure the size is small. I'm going to go to the color and make it a light purple. I'm going to make sure the markers are turned on, and then I'm going to go to the the path section, sorry, and we're going to turn this to a dashed line, so it just changes the styling a little bit. And I might make it a little bit thicker. It's a little bit too thin for my liking right now. Lastly, I want to add the profit labels. So I'm going to drag the profit green pill onto label on the marks card for sum of profit, and we're going to do the same format settings on the profit label. So I'm going to click format, number, currency custom, turn off decimal places, and go to hundreds of thousands. Okay, now this is the moment you've been waiting for. We want to overlay these two lines on each other. So I can right click this pill, this right hand side pill, or click the little drop down arrow here and click dual axis. And when I do that, it's going to combine the two of them. Now that option, I'm going to undo that really quickly, is not available if I click the left hand side pill. You'll notice that this pill and this pill are separate. They have both rounded edges. And when I combine, when I click dual axis, they are now merged. You can see that it's now treating it as one pill. We can see that there's an axis on the right-hand side now and an axis on the left-hand side. However, they are not synchronized. I have 550,000 as the maximum value in the top left and 70,000 as the maximum value in the top right. That's because this is my axis for profit, which is at a different scale than the axis for sales. This could be desirable, but for my case, I want to synchronize the axes, so I can right-click and click Synchronize Axis, and now profit will go down to its proper spot in scale, down to 47 and 37K, so it looks, in relation to sales where it should be. Because these axes are now synchronized, I don't need 550K on the left and on the right, so I can right-click that and hide Show Header, and that will disappear. And now I've got a little bit more room. Next thing we can do is make sure this is on entire view. That should be fine. Line charts generally take up the entire view. And then we just need to adjust a couple of things. I don't need this title for month. I don't need necessarily this card here on the right for the color, depending on how I describe the chart title. This may be desirable depending on how you present the data to your user. And we might want to make the months and the text here for the values a little bit larger. So I'm going to begin by just hiding this title here. So I'm going to go to Edit Axis and just delete that. And now I've got a little bit more room on the bottom. I'm going to right click and format the month names and just make the font a little bit bigger, go to maybe size 14 and bold, and right click, format, and I'm just going to make sure, I'm on the axis setting. You have to be on the axis setting. Easy to miss that step. Go to 15 and maybe bold, maybe not bold. And then same thing for this axis. So just format, axis, and you can adjust the number setting here to be a currency as well, if it is a currency, and then hide the values and make it hundreds of thousands, and then adjust the font size to match the X and Y axis. Perfect. And then just like that, you've got a dual axis line chart that's interactive. The user can select the year. And next week, we're going to look at creating a donut chart and combining them all onto a dashboard together. Awesome. Thanks.